Welcome once again to the Scott Howard Genuine ScLoHo Media and Marketing Podcast. This is an ongoing collection of media, marketing, and personal insights with episode number 421 up today. The title, Your Social Side Matters. There's a rough transcription of this podcast online at my website, scotthoward.me. If you'd like to go back and read or check out some of the links that I mentioned, you'll find them there, scotthoward.me. With all the focus on AI the past couple of years, has social media become old school or traditional media? Perhaps, but if you want to reach people born last century, you really need to still pay attention to social. I admit it's kind of weird because I'm firmly in my 6th decade on this planet and I have seen so much, yet for a long time, I was an early adopter. Now, I'm an early adopter observer because the danger of jumping into the future without also having an understanding of the present and past, well, that can be reckless. Actually, more than reckless. It can create unnecessary pain, damage, and loss. This applies to all aspects of our lives, but for our purposes today, I'll focus on business marketing. If this is your first time here, I'm all about human relationship marketing. That's the timeless principles that really need to be followed no matter what you're doing, and the top human relationship principle centers around trust. Without trust, it's nearly impossible to advance. If you are including social media in your marketing, trust is what you need to strive for. Let's take a look at a survey from a couple of years ago where people were asked about brands, social media, and trust. MarketingCharts.com shared their findings. Let me quote here. Trust in brands is becoming more important for consumers, an increasing share of whom they say that they'd pay a premium for brands that they trust. Now that sounds enticing. Instead of offering discounts to bribe people to be your customers, if they trust you, they're likely to pay extra. Here's more from the article. Let me quote again. A brand's social presence has a growing impact on whether or not consumers trust a brand. So what is it about brands' social media presences that can impact levels of trust? Respondents were given 6 factors and asked to rank them by order of impact on how much they trust a brand. The factor with the largest share, 37%, ranked number 1 is the content that brands post on social. Previous research suggests that brands steer clear of posting clickbait, inauthentic content, and repetitive content, as those missteps have caused large swaths of followers to either unfollow or even hide brands. Now, the other 2 of the 3 top influencing factors about a brand's social media are how fast they respond to their audience and how personalized those responses are. Now, before I returned to the radio advertising world, I worked full-time in social media, and I experienced this from an insider perspective along with as a typical customer. If your business is going to use social media, create a good mix of content that is of interest to your most desired customer personas. If you don't have the time or insights to do this in-house, hire it out, but be sure to make sure that you are in alignment. Social media is not a one-way street. When someone says something positive or negative about you, they expect a timely response. Ignoring them is rude, and what's even worse is a canned response that looks like either a bot or a lawyer wrote it. Now, I understand that you actually may need to set up a bot and have those responses approved by legal. But there are some things you can do to personalize it to make them feel valued. One simple way is to call them by name. There's email programs that do this, and I know there are AI programs with the same capability. However, I'm a bit cautious of AI handling customer service. Make sure you keep a human involved to oversee and monitor it too. If you're going to use social media as part of your marketing, understand both the value and commitment it takes along with the limitations and opportunities. If you want some help and guidance, just ask me. Questions, answers, thoughts of nearly any kind are always welcome. You can find me online at my website at scotthoward.me, scotthoward.me, or on social media. Just Google ScLoHo, that's ScLoHo, and you'll probably find more of me. You can drop me a note too via email. It's scott@wowo.com. That's scott@wowo.com. scott@wowo.com.
Podcasts by Federated Media.